I was planning to upload this video when Lazer, the brand new client, becomes ready for ranked play, but it got delayed. So with the new Lazer client coming out soon, I thought it would be appropriate to make a video guiding how to switch from the simplistic overview of the last client to the brand new one with a modern overhaul and new features. So the first question you may ask is, how do I transfer over existing content from stable to Lazer? Well, that's easy. It's literally shown in the setup screen when you first start up the game, although if you already had the game downloaded, you can go to the setup wizard in the options to visit this screen again. Depending how many beat maps you have, transferring does take a long time. I don't know, maybe touch some grass while you wait? Okay, now your content has been successfully installed and you're redirected to the main menu. It's a bit overwhelming to look at first, especially compared to the simplistic overview of stable, but trust me, you'll get used to it. The map stats are visible on the top right here. Pause the video if you want to take a quick read. There's tabs on the bottom that scroll through the leaderboards and details. I do wish the details just copied the description on the beat map page along with the date it was created, because the details page honestly doesn't tell a lot. Like, who cares about the map tags? You can click on the mapper's name, which opens the OSU page in game on the mapper's profile, and it also works with guest difficulties, which is cool. Although going to the actual map page itself, you have to right click the map and go to details. It's a bit inconvenient, like it's probably more important to make the map page more convenient to be linked towards, like how they did in stable. You can sort beat maps on this bar here, along with more options on the pop down here. And then this pop down shows the beat map collections you have. You can delete collections if you go to the option tab and then click manage beat maps. The different game modes are on the top left, and they'll show beat maps from that game mode. So no more accidentally playing a mania map when you want to play standard or a shitty converted map, although you can check here if you want to. The top right has shortcuts to different parts of the OSU website as well as in-game parts. It's so much nicer to access the beat map page and download maps easier. This feature was locked behind a paywall, so I'm glad I removed it. There's also a new featured artist option to browse via supported artists in OSU. Turning this off will show all the uploaded beat maps.
That sign can't stop me because I can't read.
Clicking on your username has a new feature to change your status. Like, you can make yourself offline so you can avoid people harassing you to play. Now that should be everything you should know on how to navigate the menus. See, it's pretty simple. People just hate change, so it's overwhelming at first. Now moving on to the gameplay, and you notice that the default skin has a more modern look to it, already more playable than the old default skin, let's be real. But for someone like me who played a lot on stable, I'm so used to the custom skins I've used before, and using them in Lazer only works for the gameplay aspect because the menu and results screen doesn't get affected. The most obvious issue when you start playing is the error meter, since players usually have this bar larger because it shows if you're hitting too early or late. It's not changeable in the options anymore because there's a skin editor now. You can access it in the options or pressing Ctrl-Shift-S to bring up the editor. All the assets shown on the screen are all adjustable with positioning, size, and rotation, so you can scale that error meter to your preferred size. Although you have to do this for all the skins because the changes don't carry it over. Like, I understand the sizing of the score and health bar not changing because it's different for every skin, but why not the error meter since it's the same for every one of them? Anywho, there's some new assets you can place. The new ones to Lazer being the dynamic assets, such as the judgment display, beat map information, and counters for the BPM, PP, clicks per second, unstable rate, and longest combo. These assets cannot be visually customized, so depending on your skin, they might not fit with the aesthetic. I see this feature to be very useful for streamers because it's common to see these types of information shown on a live stream, but as a streamer, you have to download another plugin so it can work on OBS, and then half the time it doesn't even work. So now on Lazer, I have the map information laid out to avoid people asking me what map I'm playing, as well with judgment stats and PP counter near the score, and then the unstable rate on the bar. There's new visual elements such as player information, text, a black box, and skinnable sprites which you can drag any image in. The editor is pretty dynamic as well, so you can see how the changes affect the game in real time. Why are you random skins? Wow, it goes to my skin. How ironic. Wait, can't you just like switch a skin mid-play? Oh, hell yeah, let's go. Scoring is much different since it uses Score v2, the system used for tournaments. The most obvious difference from Score v1, which is the scoring system on Stable, is how little the scores are in Lazer. That's because they're capped, meaning a perfect score will always be 1 million. Although mods and spinners can make the score surpass this. I've seen some complaints about this, since it doesn't reward players with a lot of score when they clear a long map, since you can get the same amount of score from a much shorter map instead. Basically, no more big dopamine hit when you see big number. Apart from that, I really like this change, since it's much easier to judge a play when looking at the scores. So basically anything below 1 million is shit, let's be honest. Although, if you miss the old scoring, then you can change it in the options to view the big numbers again. Additionally, Lazer scoring favors good accuracy much more than Score v1 did. It's now a 70% combo and 30% accuracy. I also noticed the scaling with accuracy being an upwards curve. I don't know the formula, so I did some scuff experiment where I FC'd a map with a variety of accuracies and put them down on a graph, and I was right. The score does scale as the accuracy gets higher. Take this graph with a grain of salt though. Lazer also changed the ranking systems as well, judging based on accuracy only instead of involving miscounts and FCs. Along with different scoring, we also have different slider judgment. It's pretty complex on how they change the sliders, but I'm gonna give a simple summary. Basically, you have to hit the slider head accurately now. Yeah, crazy, I know. But in Stable, you're able to get away with hitting the head inaccurately, and as long as you follow the slider afterwards, it still counts as a perfect. I don't know why that was a thing in the first place, but I'm glad they adjusted it. Kinda makes sense that you have to hit accurately in a rhythm game. Missing the head of the slider now counts as a miss instead of a slider break, as well as missing a slider tick, but now that's indicated with a small slash. Missing slider ends won't break your combo, but it's also indicated with a slash. The slider change does make the game harder, so if you don't like this, then there's the classic mod, which reverts gameplay changes from Lazer to Stable. This is why you would see the classic logo with every imported score from Stable. Along with sliders, the mod also reverts the note lock mechanic. For context, note lock is where you can't hit a note ahead if it overlays the hit window of the note before. Lazer makes this more lenient by only note locking on a smaller hit window. Well, speaking about mods, Osu Stable with its 20 mods looks tiny compared to Lazer's 45 different mods, along with mod customization, allowing more depth when it comes to personalizing your experience. Mods are split into 5 different categories. Difficulty reduction, which makes the maps easier with quotation marks around it, because that easy mod doesn't actually make the maps easier majority of the time. The Daycore mod is a new mod, which is the opposite of the Nightcore mod. Slows down the song while adding a deeper pitch, so it sounds like a guy singing. Difficulty increase, which include mods that increase the difficulty. Yeah, crazy, I know. I'll be more in depth with some of these mods later, but we have the brand new Blinds mod, being an alternative to Flashlight, since both mods are memory based. Accuracy challenge as an alternative to Sudden Death, since you'll lose when you fail to hit a strict criteria, and then strict tracking, which the description is pretty self-explanatory. Automation, which has parts of the map automatically played, from tapping to the entire map being played. It's pretty much all the same options from Stable. Conversion, which can change the map from flipping it to randomizing it, or changing your own playstyle from restricting how you tap the buttons. And then the fun mods, which are pretty much all goofy as hell. Unfortunately, it would be way too long to list out every single mod in this game, although in my opinion, a lot of them are redundant. Fun mods only exist to fuck around when you're bored, or you just try it out once just to see and never touch it again. Don't really see the point in them. Same with the conversion mods, except for difficulty adjusts, because that unlocks new ways to play or even train certain skill sets. Want to practice your reading? Then you can turn up the approach rate to train higher AR that is found in harder maps, or you can turn it down for lower AR that's in some gimmicky maps. Along with the added customization with the double time and half time mods that can change the rate of the map, allowing more flexibility when training speed or specific BPMs. These two mods are the ones I can see creating much more replayability for the game, since it unlocks more ways to play the game that are fun and helpful for improvement. There's an endless amount of mod combinations you can try out. I recommend giving them a try at least. Just have fun and mess around with them, even if the combination does sound bad. Multi-lobbies have gotten some nice quality of life updates that make the experience much more bearable. Firstly, maps are now in a queue. Depending on the option, you can choose before creating the room. It's either only the host can queue maps, or all the players in the room, or the same thing by going through a cycle through everyone's suggested maps to avoid people spamming their own maps, as well as abusing hosts and kicking people from the room. There's also an auto start option, so you no longer have to wait for the player in the Philippines with their shitty internet trying to download a map, or the host going AFK because his parents are screaming at him because he's playing Osu at 2 AM. There's also this option as well. I'm glad this is a thing because it's annoying to wait for someone. I don't know why, but people like to troll. Oh boys, they removed team co-op. Fuck this, we're going back to stable. There's also spectating, so you don't die of boredom when the lobby starts without you since you're in the Philippines. And now here's some dot points on extra features that I like that I couldn't fit along this video. So watching replays have more options now. You can dynamically change the visual effects, as well with speed up and slow down to the specific values. There's also the feature of jumping to certain parts of the replay as long as you have the song progress skin element on. You can now look up skins instead of endlessly browsing because they formatted the skin name weirdly. Now you might be wondering why do I have all these skins in the first place? I don't know, mental illness. Some of the new shortcuts that I like is being able to right click on leaderboards to copy mods, especially helps out when there's possibly thousands of mod combinations. Instead of needing to press the autoplay mod, you can hit Ctrl Enter when selecting a map to preview it on auto. You can press Ctrl D to bring up the beat map page. So if the map you're playing is shit, then you can immediately just find a new one. There's also Ctrl O to bring up the options, which is an old feature, but being able to bring it up during gameplay is so convenient when being able to adjust things. And the best feature of them all is that the game actually runs better. Although this is just me, I heard cases of the game running worse, or not even at all with some people. You're kinda on that situation, I'm sorry. So final thoughts on Lazer. Yeah, it's alright. It's still Osu at the end of the day, and the gameplay's still the same. It wasn't really made for players like me who's been playing for years, but more catering towards potential new players. With a modern overhaul and more beginner-friendly features, like an actual first-run setup and all the important things accessible in-game, it's a more appealing introduction instead of stable, throwing you in the deep end. You can watch this video if you want more details about this problem in stable. It's still worth a try in my opinion, and I'll most likely be switching since Lazer will be the new supported client. Playing on stable is fine though, like the main gameplay, which is clicking circles, is pretty much identical. Anyways, that's a rundown on Osu Lazer, and hopefully makes you feel more prepared when making the switch from stable to Lazer. Hope you guys have fun on this accursed rhythm game. Okay, bye bye.
See you next time.